JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, resident disarms robber, hands over gun to police. A Mossberg shotgun with 4 12-gauge cartridges was handed over to the police in Westmoreland on Wednesday. Reports from the Savlamore police saw that about 10:45 p.m., an unknown assailant attempted to rob a resident on the Culloden Main Road in the parish. The resident, however, disarmed the would-be robber and summoned the police. On their arrival, the gun and the ammunition were handed over to the cops. Westmoreland goat herder found dead. The police in Westmoreland are probing the death of a goat herder whose body was found in Grange Jail on Wednesday morning. He has been identified as 68-year-old Aaron Scarlett, otherwise called Dada, from Crowden Grange Jail, the same community once called home by 2 goat herders brutally murdered last December. According to the Morgan's Ridge Police in Grange Jail, Scarlett left home with his goats early Wednesday morning but never returned home. A resident found his body in bushes. There was a chop wound to his neck. The police were alerted, and Scarlett's body was taken to the Savlamore Hospital where his death was confirmed. No motive has been established for Scarlett's death, but the goat herders murdered last December appear to have been robbed. As the Yuletide season approached last year, there was a spate of incidents of goats being stolen, eliciting calls for greater action against pre-deal thieves. Trelawney police list 9 wanted men. 9 men have been listed as wanted for various crimes by the Trelawney police, ranging from wounding with intent to murder. Superintendent Carlos Russell, divisional head for the parish, shared that among the wanted is the alleged assailant in the murder of a woman in January. Russell is asking the men to turn themselves in so that these matters can be settled. "We're asking all these men to turn themselves over to the police as soon as possible," he said on Thursday. Junior Bennett, also known as Big Shot, is wanted for the murder of 41-year-old farmer Garcia Williams. Williams was killed on her farm in Greentown on January 31, 2022. Twins Stanford and Eric Morrison are wanted for an incident of murder that took place in 2018 in Bounty Hall. They are also facing 2 counts of wounding with intent. They are known to frequent the Wakefield community. Brian Samuels, otherwise called Bry, is wanted for the October 2021 murder of 57-year-old farmer Leroy Graham, who was beaten to death during an incident at a bar in Lorrimars in the south of the parish. Also making the murder section of the list is Lascelles Wright, otherwise called Bayer of Warsop, who is wanted for a murder that was committed in the community of Low River in 2019. On the charge of shooting with intent is Wayne Ellis, otherwise called TY, of a Low River address. This comes following an incident which occurred on March 8, 2021 in the community. Junior Clark, otherwise called Tick Chess, is wanted for wounding with intent, while Colin McFarlane and Christian Davis are wanted for wounding with intent. Farmer shot dead at bar in St. Thomas. A 61-year-old farmer on Thursday became the 5th murder victim in St. Thomas, following a gun attack at a bar in his community of Landoe. That is Stanford Wilson. Reports are that sometime after 3 p.m., Wilson was among patrons at the bar when an armed man entered and shot him in the upper body. The gunman then made his escape from the area in a waiting motor car. Wilson reportedly succumbed to his injuries at the scene. Investigations are ongoing. Brothers charged for killing of Chinese couple and Westmoreland double murder remanded. The 2 brothers charged with the murders of a Chinese couple in St. Elizabeth and a businesswoman and her customer in Westmoreland were remanded in the Home Circuit Court this morning. Nigel Walters, otherwise called Troy, and Nicholas Walters were ordered to return to court on June 2. When the matters were called up this morning, the court was told that the case files are incomplete. The accused were then remanded. The defendants are charged for the December 23, 2021 murder of business operators 53-year-old Shion Shu and 48-year-old Akon 1 in Bellevue in St. Elizabeth. The couple was gunned down during a robbery at their supermarket. 3 gunmen reportedly caught on a closed-circuit television system posing as customers in the supermarket before the killing. In the second incident, the brothers are charged with the deaths of 45-year-old businesswoman Sophia Brown and 58-year-old farmer Bernie Lewis, both of Long Hill District, White House, Westmoreland. Brown was reportedly at her wholesale on January 11 when the brothers entered posing as customers. Brown and Lewis were reportedly assisting the men when they shot them. Suspected scammer charged in Westmoreland. A suspected lottery scammer has been charged following his arrest in a pre-dawn operation in White House, Westmoreland on Thursday. Reports are that between the hours of 4 a.m. and 8 a.m., lawmen from the lottery scam task force searched the suspect's home. The police say they also did an on-site examination of his cellular phone and found several files with names, addresses, telephone numbers, and banking information of people residing overseas. He was arrested and has since been charged with possession of identity information and possession of access devices. He has been identified as 21-year-old Tafori Pinnock, otherwise called Taffy, of Rowtown, White House in Westmoreland. Cop fined for daggering woman on police car. A policeman was seen on video daggering a woman on a police car has been fined several days' pay. The fine was imposed on him after he appeared in the orderly room, a police disciplinary hearing procedure, and was found guilty. His colleague, who was present during the dancing, had the matter against him dropped. He got convicted and paid some days' pay. Senior Superintendent Michael Phipps, head of the Kingston Western Police Division, said of the daggering cop, "We withdrew the charge against the other policeman." SSP Phipps said that the disciplinary breach did not warrant a suspension, so the policeman is still at work. The cops were pointed out after the video went viral on social media, garnering mixed reactions. The video was reportedly shot by a resident from the division. It was recorded when the cops visited what seemed to be a small gathering, where music was playing. The footage shows the two policemen alighting from the service vehicle. A woman then proceeded to stand in front of the lawman on the left side of the car and began dancing on him. As she raised one leg and placed it on his shoulder, the officers videoed engaging her in a dance. At one point, the video shows the policeman leaning her up against the service vehicle as he continued the daggering, much to the delight of curious onlookers who laughed and cheered him on. Friends and family in mourning after missing resort manager found dead. Even though she suspected that her missing father, resort manager Cloyd Taylor, would not be found alive, the confirmation of his death was a body blow that left Shamara Taylor devastated on Thursday. "It was one of my dad's friends who called to say that they found my father's body. When I heard, my body went cold because I couldn't believe what he was saying. But we knew that it was going to lead to this, because knowing the person my father was, he was going to fight whoever came at him. He was never going to just let it go by. They would have to do something like this for him not to come home," a distraught Shamara said. On Thursday, the 65-year-old's employees, friends, and those who worked in the tourism industry struggled to come to grips with the tragic end to a nightmare that began last Saturday. That was the day he was last seen, telling his sister Vanna Taylor, herself a well-known player in the tourist industry, that he was headed out for a few hours. He allegedly left his home in Salem, Runaway Bay for Ocho Rios, did a routine check-in with an employee via phone and then vanished. It was unlike him not to notify relatives about his whereabouts, so the family's hopes that he would return safely to them began to fade after 2 days had passed. Police said Taylor's body was found with several chop wounds in a Nissan Note motor car shortly after midday on Thursday in the district of Tuphill in Hampton, Runaway Bay. "I never knew that these days I had with him would be the last days of seeing my father. I never imagined that someone would take him away from us in such a manner," Shamara lamented as she reacted to his death. "I never knew this would be part of me and my siblings' story." The 31-year-old says she recently returned to Jamaica from Brazil, where she lived for several years. Since returning home, she has been living with her dad, and his death has left her in shambles. "I just came back in April last year, but when I was away, I spoke with him every day. He was always there for me. I can never say I called my father for something and he disappointed me," Shamara said. She said he was just as present in his other children's lives. "He was always helping my brother and sister with their restaurant. Whenever we call on Daddy, he always shows up. It doesn't matter even if you and him not on good terms. You tell him you need something, he says, 'all right,' and he gets it done. He was a family man and always around his children," Shamara added. This generosity and willingness to help extended to others outside the family, she said, so it was difficult to understand why anyone would want to harm him. "There's always somebody with some story and he tried to save everybody," she added. The elder Taylor was well known within the tourism sector, and news of his death has rattled those who knew him from his role as manager at the Fisherman's Point Resort in Ocho Rios. Mr. Taylor and his sister Vanna, who serves as second vice president of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, have been stalwarts of Jamaica's tourism industry for several decades, contributing much to the development of the industry. "We mourn his loss. May he rest in peace," said JHDA President Clifton Reeder in a brief statement. Regional Director of the Jamaica Tourist Board audit directs were sorrow after hearing of Taylor's tragic passing. "This is really such a blow to the industry to have such a stalwart, somebody who has been in the industry as long as he has, to leave us in such a manner. It is very unfortunate, and I'm sending our prayers and thoughts and deepest condolences to the family," she said. 34 new COVID cases in Jamaica, 10 more deaths. The Ministry of Health and Wellness reported 34 new COVID-19 cases and 10 deaths on Thursday, bringing the infection total to 120,142 and total deaths to 2,825. The new cases comprise 17 females and 17 males, with ages ranging from 39 days to 88 years. The cases were recorded in St. Catherine 8, St. James 7, Manchester 5, Kingston and St. Andrew 3, Clarendon 3, St. Thomas 2, St. Anne 2, Hanover 1, St. Mary 1, St. Elizabeth 1 and Westmoreland 1. Portland and Trelawney were the only parishes to record 0 cases. The deceased include a 61-year-old female, a 5-year-old female, a 58-year-old male, a 67-year-old male, and a 65-year-old male, all from St. Catherine. The other deaths involved individuals, all male, from St. Anne, an 85-year-old, a 73-year-old, a 51-year-old, an 87-year-old, and a 53-year-old. The deaths occurred between March and November 2021. There were 286 recoveries in the last 24 hours, bringing the total to 78,146. Currently, 97 people are hospitalized, 7 of which are severely ill, while another 7 are critically ill and 25 are moderately ill. The Health Ministry reported a 5% positivity rate. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.